It is a very beautiful sunny morning, and before I start weight training, I really wanted to talk about this client who I had a call with last week. And before we even started our deep dive into the discovery call, she told me very honestly, Manisha, I stuffed my face with a brownie. And she's someone who we are working on bringing her blood sugar to an optimum level, after which she can get on a really good fat burning stage, after which her body will feel safe enough to not just carry on the body's optimal functions but also grow hair by default, because that is how the pathway of your bodies are designed. Having said that, instead of putting yourself into shame, guilt, embarrassment of reaching out to that sugar cookie or a brownie which you think is probably made with maple syrup but still has refined flour, let me tell you, it is not a discipline problem. It is not a willpower problem. It is not something that you're doing because you don't love yourself. It's because your body's mechanism works in that way. So before you start shaming yourself for reaching out that sugar laden fruit juice or a tea or a coffee, understand it is your body's cue to get off some sort of a panic. And let me explain you why I say that. Your body makes energy in two ways. One, by consuming food, which is high on glucose, so it will break down that glucose and then you will start getting energy of that, and that's called as the sugar burning stage. The other mechanism by which your body makes energy is when it taps into your body's stored fat. That is your fat burning stage. So when you go on extended periods of fasting, your body taps into your body's reserve, and that's also how your body makes energy. Now, when a woman hits 30, 35 or 40s, she struggles to get off from the stage one, which is the sugar burning stage, because the estrogen is fluctuating, progesterone is dipping, and in all this chaos, your body goes into an empty. And what does your body reach out to in that moment is actually giving you the cue that it is still in that sugar burning stage. And for a woman, when she thinks it's so hard to lose the weight after 35, it's not because you are damaged or your body does not know how to function anymore. It's because your body's innate ability to tap into the fat storage ability is not being reached, because we are still stuck in the sugar burning stage. And the problem that happens when we reach out to simple sugars, a food with high glycemic indexes, the insulin spike that we have is quite rapid, but even the crash that we get is equally rapid. So that crash is the place where you feel, your body feels, it goes into this panic stage and it wants to go back to that state, and that's when you reach out for that cookie, the brownie, and whatever. And it also happens if you've not slept well enough the previous day, because your body by default goes into the pre-diabetic state, and that's why you crave carbs and sugars. And when I say carbs, I have nothing against carbs, nor I have anything against sugar. I'm somebody who has an extremely sweet tooth. I eat sweets whenever I feel like, but there's always a pattern of including them in your diet, and that's what I want to talk about. But having said that, this mechanism of sugar burning stage and fat burning stage needs to be very clear as a concept, so that you know what your body is actually craving for and why it is craving for. Because see, when we are aware, we take better actions, and when we take better actions, we get better results. So awareness is the foundation. And if you are someone who is still finding it quite hard to be off sugar, if you follow this simple hack of eating your fiber, your protein, your fats, and then include carbs and desserts, this layering will make your load on pancreas much lower, which means the insulin is not going to spike rapidly. If you follow this pattern, it is going to rise gradually, because if you include your carbs and desserts towards the end, follow this order: fiber, protein, fats, and then include your carbs. And if you still feel like finishing with the sweet, go ahead, because it is the crash that we want to control. This gradual increase in insulin because of this food pattern will also enable you to have a very gradual dip, which is what will enable you to not have that panic attack, and that's why you will not reach out to another cookie or another brownie. So that hack, when we follow over a pattern over a period of time, you are giving your body a cue, you're giving a signal to your pancreas to not overwork, because in today's times our pancreas are so overworked, and because everything has a threshold, after a point even the pancreas gets exhausted. And the premise of healthy hormones, of having healthy hair, healthy skin, is having balanced sugar so that you can have balanced hormones. And the ultimate, when you develop this habit of following this food pattern, incorporate the idea of doing extended periods of fasting. Maybe eat how much ever you want to eat in this pattern till the sun is up, and as soon as sun sets, stop eating, and then wake up and do the same pattern till you feel you are not always reaching out to that brownie or that fruit juice or that tea or coffee with sugar. Because at the end of the day, food is just information, and it's based on this information that your organs secrete certain hormones, and it is these hormones that determine the fate of how you look, how you feel, how your hair shows up, how your skin glows. And the more and more we incorporate these mindful practices, it becomes it becomes a habit, because it's literally a muscle which you're training, whether it is to regulate your desire to reach out to the brownie first, and building up a healthy pattern of allowing your body to respond to your food in a more mindful and a more strategic way. It does sound like a lot of work, but it's only when you do it over and over again, you will build up that resilience, that muscle, that memory of being good to yourself, understanding that every bite that goes into my mouth is actually representing how I will feel and eventually how I will look. And just to give you a context, a lot of women who see a widening of the hair partition is an indication of insulin resistance. And as I gave you this entire pattern of food combination, when you start doing that, you are actually relaxing your pancreas to not overwork and not secrete that insulin, which is not necessary all the time. We want to make our insulin spikes very gradual, with spikes and with dips. I hope this helps, and eat that brownie, but eat it right.